Hi everybody, it's been a while. I have been through a whole new Phoenix experience since my last video, and I am in fact recovering my health. That'll be another story for another time, perhaps. Today I am focused on the eclipse tonight in Pisces. It is a partial lunar eclipse, but it's 96%, I think, so almost total lunar eclipse, and it is the last eclipse in my sign of Pisces for quite a while, as I understand it. I'm no astrologer by any means, but it is a great time, especially since it falls along with the full moon. It's a great time for some justice magic, and boy do we need that. Not just in this benighted country, this failing empire that completely deserves to fall at this point. Not only the US, but everywhere. We are seeing a global pattern of a rise in fascism, in tyranny, once again, in so many different places. And tyranny is injustice. And it wreaks so much evil and pain on everyone. And I'm not just talking about humanity. The human impact alone is appalling. America has concentration camps, and we are throwing people, innocent people, into them every day. ICE is brutalizing innocent immigrant communities and throwing them in concentration camps. The land of the free and the home of the brave. Anyway, justice magic. Usually for the full moon in the order of bards, ovates, and druids, which is the order I belong to, full moon is for a peace meditation. And I think that justice goes right along with peace, because where there is injustice, peace cannot be. So, in order to achieve peace, we must have justice. And I've already appealed to the gods of justice and the spirits of land and place and ancestors, and I also have a poem that I wrote specifically for justice magic against tyrants and dictators. I was partially inspired, my poem was partially inspired by some of you might recall when Kim Jong-il, I believe his name was, died. He had a parade. They had a funeral parade, and they forced the people to stand there and cry and weep and wail. And if they didn't show sufficient enthusiasm in their grief, they faced dire consequences. And of course, North Korea is still a horrible dictatorship. And our little wannabe dictator, Donald Trump, is, famously in love with Kim Jong-un. And this is, dedicated to all of them. I don't know, it's too late to maybe inspire anyone else. I don't know. I did try to make this video on my laptop earlier, and the quality was appalling. So I have to do it in a hurry on the phone. I do feel like I should do it, or I wouldn't bother. But here's the poem. And poems are spells in a way. They don't have to be spells, they don't have to be magic, but they certainly can be. And this one is: to all the petty dictators this troubled race produces, you can never make us grieve what you have made us hate. Would-be kings in stolen crowns, tyrants of every foul stripe, wielding borrowed power that will never, never belong to you. To destroy, to plunder, to ravage and reap, where you never once sowed a single good seed. You can make us grieve, oh yes. We'll grieve the loss of all you steal and kill, of all that you destroy. You can beat a body, torture a mind, crush our very will, till all that's left is dust, smeared with blood and the salt of bitter tears. But what you cannot do, the very thing you covet most, you can never make us worship you, and you cannot make us grieve when at last the Reaper, so very long awaited, arrives to secret celebration. Know that your people rejoice, lauding the specter you fear, welcoming scythe-bearer who comes to pin you, struggling like a butterfly pierced to a board, crushed as you love to crush, beneath your inescapable mortality, your relentless frailty, your cruel weakness. You can make us stand in straight lines, spines stiff. You can force us to lie, to enact a farcical tragedy, to shed tears as if for you, to weep and wail aloud as your death parade goes by. But all know well deep down, not one true tear of loss will ever fall for you. When Erinyes hunt you down at last, know that their fury is also ours. They stand for every victim whose life you ever ruined, for every hope you ever extinguished, for every horror you ever wrought, thinking it would never be your turn. The rage of innocent blood cries out from earth herself. Who, grieving, receives it, drinks and sanctifies it in her fiery core, then sends it out through her rivers, her veins, to the seas, her womb, whence it is borne upon currents of air unto the very cosmos, resounding from star to star. This silent voice you cannot mute, ringing, echoing, calling for justice through every atom in all creation, now answered, satisfied at last. Despite you and your craven armies, your lying toadies, your psychopathic sycophants, now you too are at the mercy of those who show no mercy, until every moment of every pain, every agony, great or small, that you ever inflicted, comes back to you at last, the poisonous fruit of your poisonous tree. Then, and only then, when balance is restored to delicate scales of justice, when the weight of your sins is less than a feather, then can you be forgiven. Then there is salvation, when atonement has been paid by the wrongdoer and not a scapegoat. The hatred you have earned is in fact a love betrayed. Once you have paid your Judas price in full, then, and only then, you are free at last to be forgiven, to be renewed in the grace you were once meant for. That is the one hope you still have, the one prayer prayed for you. Dedicated to all the petty tyrants and dictators on earth right now. Justice is coming. And the eclipse, John Beckett said something important in his newsletter this month about the eclipse. Eclipses, metaphorically, can be understood to speed up time, because the eclipse happens because a shadow intervenes between the light source and the earth, whether it's the moon or the sun. And so you sort of go through the cycle of a day in a compressed period of, a couple hours or however long the eclipse lasts. So that, I pray the eclipse will speed up the downfall of every tyrannical regime on this planet right now, including ours. And the thing that I am the most incandescent with rage about right now is that they are rounding up our wild horses, our beautiful, precious wild horses. They are illegally rounding them up and sending them for slaughter to be processed into meat. The impact on humanity alone is horrific. But what they are doing to the entire web of life is unacceptable. We must do everything we can to stop it. It might be too late. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're here to do the best that we can with what we have. That's what I'm going to do. Blessings to all of you in the shortening days as the year draws down to autumn. Every blessing to you and yours. I'll be back soon, probably.